The Corps of Engineers is now addressing pollution concerns for the site of a former Navy base. As we reported last night, part of the Buxton Beach has been closed for months because of that site. 10 on your side's Nick Broadway tells us what is now underway to finally get part of the site removed.
For the first time, plans are in the works to actually remove part of the old Navy base at Cape Hatteras Island, source of many pollution concerns for locals and vacationers. The Army Corps of Engineers just agreed to sample soil around one of the problem pipes and then remove the pipe. Built in the 1950s, the 50-acre naval station Cape Hatteras is believed to be the first to detect a Soviet submarine. After being turned over to the Park Service, documents show the Army Corps agreed to remove all of what's called Building 19. Decades of erosion later, it was revealed parts of the foundation, cables, and pipes were still there, some areas testing positive for petroleum. Even after the Corps removed thousands of tons of contaminated soil in the early 2000s, the petroleum persists today. On the same day of our report about the pollution, the Army Corps announced their plans to remove one of the pipes and figure out if it is in fact the source of the leaking petroleum. But they're telling me they cannot take out the rest of the site.
The infrastructure is not eligible under the FUDGE program because it was not a risk when we turned it over to MPS. It became a hazard after the fact. We're responsible for removing hazards when we turn over the property, and it was not a hazard at that point.
Program manager Sarah Keisler says the site was turned over in 1982. At that time, the Atlantic was much further away from Building 19. Many of the thick cables and foundational concrete structures previously deemed not a hazard, according to Keisler, are now exposed. The section of the beach is closed off for safety concerns. So what's on the other side of the pipe? Keisler says they do not believe it's a fuel tank, but rather lines from a fuel distribution system. They did remove tanks from the site back when the contaminated soil was taken out.
We are here to protect the human health and the environment, and we have been working really hard with our partners such as NPS and the regulators and the Coast Guard, who are all doing work at the site to try to find a way to make the site safe again.
They expect to be awarded funds for the project by this September and hope to start working late this year or early next year. Nick Broadway, 10 on your side.
Now, we just heard back from Dave Hollick with the Cape Hatteras National Seashore. He tells us getting the pipe removed is a good step forward, but there are still patches of petroleum contaminated soil that need to be taken out. Halleck hopes the Army Corps, Coast Guard, and the Navy keep working together on a solution.